Coming down the track. And the name was being red light. Ain't nothing finer in the rain. Just look at my sister.
What's up, y'all? This is John, Mike, and Caleb back for another episode of the Nothing Finer podcast. Tonight, we are talking about the most impactful games out of Week 3. Obviously, the big Georgia win. Let's see in the YouTube description. I actually don't see it on the YouTube Live. Speaking of, check us out on YouTube Live. But I called it the Heartstopper in Knoxville, the beatdown in Willy B, and the hammer in Historic Mark Richt Field.
Love it. You know, there's another big game. Again, we didn't cover it in the pre-show, and we didn't cover it here. That's a second game of the year contender that happened between Texas A&M and Notre Dame as well. And we're not even really talking about it. Yeah, that was a heck of a shootout. Amazing. 2 games that nobody expected to be shootouts, but here we are.
Yeah, and honestly, so it's one of those, if Georgia played A&M or Notre Dame in the regular season, we would have talked about it, because I think unintentionally, all the games I put in the outline, Georgia plays one of these teams, or it was just funny.
Yeah, I mean, one of them we don't play either of the teams in there, but we had to talk about it just because of the result.
Yes. But yesterday was our watch party at the Rock House. It was a super fun time. Y'all make sure to go to the next one. It'll be October 11th. It is actually Pirates Fest on Tybee Island. If you don't know about Pirates Fest, it's insane. Everybody dresses up. Everybody hangs out. Like, it is a full-on entire island party. I'm not even entirely sure how we are getting to Rock House for that game.
Yeah, I'm hoping that I can still use my colleague's house and walk over a couple blocks, but we'll see.
I may also need to do that. Because it's going to be insane. Y'all may be able to convince me to put some eyeliner on for that one. We'll see.
Jen already was buying costumes for everybody, so we're down. Y'all convinced us.
But catch us on YouTube Live Sunday nights right now. Millions Live Thursday nights. Where else?
Anywhere you get your podcasts, if you don't catch us there.
And then Rock House, like we were just talking about, great time. But how have y'all been? What are you drinking? Does anybody, who's got a cardiologist appointment for tomorrow?
I was gonna say, my heart, I think, is still beating about 10 BPM faster than it should be, and that's after a whole day of deep breaths and everything else, including alcohol. We spiked the lemonade again the other day for the game.
Yeah,
we had a little bit extra. So might as well. It was so good last week. We wanted a little bit more. I say we. I'm the only one in the house who's allowed to drink it right now. But so I'm doing it for everybody. How about y'all?
No, man, I'm good. Like John was saying, the Rock House stuff was really fun yesterday. Had a good turnout. The shirt, if y'all come the next time, super comfortable. Highly recommend
I haven't
getting
even posted the shirts on social media. I need to do that.
Yeah, they're sick, man. They're really, really good. I mean, we've obviously looked at them. I'm wearing one right now. I'm not going to show you my back because I can't do that. But
subscribe to his OnlyFans and
back and feet. We don't have Nothing Finer slides yet, but if y'all are interested, we can figure it out.
Yeah, I can model for that, sure. No, I was busy. Like I was telling y'all before we got on, I'm drinking a Rock Star because I have to write a repage paper after we get off of here, because I've been putting it off for like 2 weeks and I really do not care about reading a 20-year-old article that the professor seems to think is relevant. So how about you?
I'll be honest, guys. Last night during the game, I was so anxious during the entire game that, one, I didn't really eat all day. Even as an almost 30-year-old man, I'm a big fan of poverty nachos. If you don't know what that is, you
Dude,
grew up rich.
I kid you not, we made poverty nachos, but put them in the air fryer today.
Let's go.
So between setting up for the watch party and we came home and showered and finished getting ready, like that's what I had for lunch was some poverty nachos because I was like, you know what, I don't want anything heavy right now. Then we get to the watch party and it's obviously they get great food, um, phenomenal burgers. I have a shellfish allergy, so I can't eat a whole lot out there, but everything I have had is great. But I didn't eat from noon until about 8:30 yesterday. So I didn't drink a lot. I think I had like 3 beers and one of our drink specials because I knew I wasn't eating.
I made up for it though. It's all good.
We appreciate it, yeah. But so we had this big ass inflatable on the roof. If you haven't seen it on our Instagram, go check it out. 10 foot wide, 7 foot tall inflatable on the roof of the Rock House. And after the game, I was on the roof taking it down because, I bought that, I brought that, just getting it back in the car, especially because we had to tie it to cinder blocks. It was so windy yesterday. So I'm getting it down. And Mike made the joke first, but multiple people yelled up to me. They said, "We won. You don't have to jump."
I got
four
so many
people.
looks from down below. I don't know if you could tell, but I had about 7 or 8 people look horrified at me, and then you.
No, it was fun. It was a ton of fun. We'll be doing it for every away game, every neutral site, because I have committed to not going to Georgia, Florida, even though now I really wish I hadn't. So,
Yeah.
but let's go ahead and get into it because we have a lot to talk about. We tried to keep the other games we're talking about
Condensed.
small.
We're going to be talking about the main event for a little while.
Yeah.
Yes. So the first one we're talking about, we didn't break it down because honestly, I think we all kind of knew where it was going.
Yeah.
But Wisconsin at Alabama. Bama covered the 18.5, over 45 hit. Scoreboard check says Bama dominated this game. And the box score check says Ty Simpson dominated this game. 24-29, 382 yards, 4 touchdowns. 5 busted defensive plays and poor tackling by Wisconsin allowed 205 passing yards and 2 of those touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ryan Williams had his first 100-yard game since the Mercer game last year.
He also got his first touchdown since the Georgia game, but he got 75 yards on one play in the third.
Yep.
That'll do it.
Like, we'll definitely do it.
Like, I understand that Georgia's defense busted coverages all day yesterday. You are not telling me anything I don't know. But they tackled well. They didn't really miss tackles.
And you're also probably not getting that twice in a row with this Kirby Smart-led defense.
Bingo.
Yeah.
So, man, watching this game made me feel a lot better about that game.
Yeah. And again, Bama, even they seem to dominate through the air. As you said, there's a lot of context that needs to be added to that. They also got precisely nothing on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much all day. Ty Simpson was by far their leading rusher. Their running backs, the running back with the most yards per carry, ran it twice for 13 yards. Their main ones are looking at 3 yards a carry, less than 1 yard a carry, 2 yards a carry. So just not a great showing from the Alabama running back room against Wisconsin, who I don't need to tell you isn't the most physical bunch on defense.
Yeah, it's not Barry Alvarez's Wisconsin team by any means. I mean, this, again, team had struggled a little bit against Middle Tennessee State, which we've poo-pooed really hard the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Unfairly, but not unfairly.
Not unfairly.
They deserve it. But, like, why? I don't know. But this is one of my best bets from last week. I do have to add, I think I was 4-1. And this is one of them I felt pretty good about, and I'm glad that it ended up working out. I think it was like 21.5 when I wrote it.
You had 21.5.
Yeah, Wisconsin sucks.
Yes.
I don't know how Luke Fickell's going to make it through the end of the year.
He won't.
They have more NIL money than you think, and they're gonna be able to pay for it if they really want to get rid of them.
They'll be Luke Fickell will be coaching. He'll be coaching winter practice in Lane Stadium come December.
Guys, next time Bama takes the field, are they playing against a better or worse defense than Wisconsin's?
That's like better.
I would say better, but Georgia tried real hard to convince me otherwise.
Yeah, that's fair. But do they go up against a better or worse offense than Wisconsin next week?
better. I was convinced of that on Saturday.
Yeah. We'll
for
talk
sure.
about that a little more. But just again, I'm not making a prediction yet. I'm just stating a couple of facts here.
Yeah, we got
Bama's
2
got a lot
weeks.
to clean up. So
And
do
yeah,
we, but I
Yeah.
feel like Bama's got more.
yeah, but yeah, the dairy raid's dead. It's
Dairy
not fun
Raid is
anymore.
dead. Rip.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of dead, Clemson
Golly.
got the field rush on them again, and so lost at Georgia Tech. All right. So first question: does anyone know which body of water the field goal post ended up in? Because I know when they
They
rushed
called-
the field against Miami, they took it to the President's Pool.
That's where they. It looks like they took it. They called it the river, but it was definitely a pool.
Are you sure
I
they
say it
didn't
was in
take
a
it up to where it's
backyard.
hotter than a hoochie coochie?
Well, that's what I said at
Yeah.
the watch party yesterday with Mike. I was like, here's the problem, though. They take them to the Chattahoochee, they will dissolve in the toxic waste that is the
Facts.
Chattahoochee south of Atlanta.
That's why Alan
Probably
Jackson
a
had to wear
bad
jeans.
But Georgia Tech won this game, so they obviously covered the 2.5. The under of 49.5 hit. Boo. My best bets took a walloping this week. But Haynes King, I'm convinced, needs 0.5 to 2.5 concussions and at least a mid-grain ankle sprain to be good at football. But when he gets there, he is the Heisman frontrunner.
Yes.
Makes him feel alive.
Yeah. Same but slightly lesser could be said about Gunner, but Gunner's also only started 4 games.
Yeah. Small sample size, but
Mhm.
but he is a dude, whether he has a concussion or not.
Yes. Clemson, meanwhile, not good. Their offense is quite literally Cade Klubnik trying to make some future insurance agents be good at football.
Should Cade redshirt the rest of the year and try to get somewhere else to save his life, save his career? Because he's gonna go pro in something.
Go transfer to Florida State, where bad quarterbacks go to either die or beat Alabama.
I was about to
Yeah.
say, honestly, if Florida State can maintain some sort of offensive line and talent, Cade Klubnik would destroy Clemson at Florida State.
Ooh, it'd be
But-
spicy. Here for it.
Clemson just isn't good. They have no depth at running back. They've converted a wide receiver to running back due to depth. And then they had their top 2 wide receivers go down with injuries.
Mm-hmm.
They still cannot recruit or develop an offensive line. Matt Luke doesn't help. I'm not a Matt Luke disrespecter. He is one of those offensive line coaches that has a place. The
Ole
place
Miss.
is in wide open spread offenses. So,
Yeah.
for example, 2022 Tennessee, Matt Luke is a perfect offensive line coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Western Kentucky,
Yeah.
perfect offensive line coach. At a ground and pound attempt, or a power football attempt, or a play action, I'm going to hold on to it attempt, Matt Luke's not that guy. It's just not the type of player he recruits. It's not the type of player he develops. And I'm not trying to be down on the guy, because I do like him. I think he's great for what he did at Georgia. I think he got way too disrespected with what he was handed at Ole Miss. Still, Clemson needs an offensive line, and they haven't had one in a while.
Yeah. And it hurts because Cade Klubnik was supposed to be one of the Heisman frontrunners this year, and so far he has looked like the version of himself that showed up in Atlanta for the season opener last year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not entirely his fault. It's a little bit his fault. He's not playing particularly well either. But like you said, that offensive line over there is not helping. And while Clemson has a defense full of dudes, those dudes so far are not executing to the level that we thought they were going to this year.
Y'all remember when we did the show with Connor, and we all kind of just laughed, like, okay, everybody has Clemson, right? And we all kind of just dismissed everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we shouldn't have been that high on them. I mean,
No.
obviously with
No.
what's going on now, but like, I mean, if you go back to last year, they lost 4 games, and all 4 of those games were similar talent, or even, obviously better with Georgia in that case. But they, beat up the really, really weak ACC teams, and then if you, play a team with a pulse, they sucked. They
Yeah,
weren't
which-
good. So,
which
I mean, except for
I-
SMU, they did win that game, but
Which is funny because with them and with another team we're going to talk about later, I was guilty of the thing that I eviscerated the media for preseason of just saying, well, they have a veteran quarterback, they're going to do
Mhm.
great. Clearly, that's not necessarily the case.
Well, and Cade was supposed to be. I mean, he was a 5-star guy, and he
And
still looks like the
I
same
mean,
guy from
so
last
here's
year
the
and the year
thing.
before.
Last year, even against Texas, Cade Klubnik almost won them that game, playoff game at Texas. Like, let's not pretend that he hasn't showed a significant amount of talent against good teams. He beat an SMU team that made the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, this year, he just can't.
Yeah.
Oh well.
And I truly believe it's all on the offensive line.
Yeah.
But run game doesn't help.
No.
All right, next game. Arkansas at Ole Miss. Ole Miss covered 4.5 over 60.5. Killer game, as always. This is one of the most underrated rivalries in college football. And these two teams don't even call it a rivalry. They don't even hate each other. But somehow, some way, every time they play, it's insane. And
Yeah,
I don't
where
get
did you
it. I don't
where
know.
did you get 4.5? By the way, because my line that I had put bet on best bets was 7.5. Four and
Yeah,
a
that's what I
half
thought
would
it
have hit.
was.
Dadgummit.
Was it 4.5
um,
right before the game?
So I went on this one based on ESPN bet because I can get it through the ESPN app.
Well, that was
Gotcha.
it probably changed when Austin Simmons was listed as out too, right?
Yeah,
Right.
that's probably true.
Yeah.
Austin Simmons did play one play.
Okay. Oh.
He got, I believe, one touchdown pass. So,
Well, there's that.
but so if you guys watch the late slate, and especially if you did it like we did, we were on YouTube TV, multi-view. We had 4 games going. Within 15 minutes, there was a carting off the field in this game. There was a carting off the field in A&M Notre Dame. There was a carting off the field in UMass and Iowa. I wasn't paying attention to that game.
I imagine.
Promise. The options for multi-view at that point were, if I wanted to watch the other 3, I had to have that one. So I'm not a sicko. Kirk Ferentz did get his 206 win to lead Big Ten head coaches all time, so that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
he passed Woody, yeah.
But no, so it's sad. I hate it, especially because the player in that Iowa game was a UMass player that was getting paid to lose. Like I hate seeing injuries, especially in a situation like that. But Arkansas defensive back got carted off the field in this game in a neck brace. He was able to move his arms and legs after the game, but it was
That's
EMS on the field, not a trainer, so he immediately went to the hospital.
Mm.
Have not seen an update yet, but did just want to acknowledge that. So in this game, Austin Simmons, who's only 19 and has his bachelor's degree. Did y'all know that?
What?
That's at Ole Miss. That's not really that impressive.
True. I honestly, boy, if we had, like, we could probably give him 3 ad reads and get a bachelor's degree from Ole Miss.
Yeah.
That's probably true.
They
At
have
the
like
same
a
time,
95% acceptance rate. So I mean, and it's Mississippi.
well, look,
But yeah.
somebody's got to pound some crazy fact about people. They did the same thing with Ryan Williams last year, and that's just what we're going to deal with for the rest of time for some reason. You know, Gunnar Stockton raises cows, guys. Did you know that?
Doesn't
What kind of
he
truck
raise
does he drive?
cows? The man's got his own property and a herd now. That is actually impressive.
That is. I love it.
All right, but Ole Miss pretty much started and played all but one play with Division II transfer from Ferris State, Trinidad Chambliss.
Elite.
Elite football name.
Hey, and Ferris State's a football powerhouse in Division II or Division.
That's true. They keep knocking Valdosta State out of the playoff, and that's my hometown team, and I can't stand them. But elite name.
But he played significantly better than Austin Simmons has so far this year.
Yeah.
Like Austin Simmons struggled against Georgia State for the first half at least. He got going. But then he struggled against Kentucky. And now Trinidad Chambliss comes in and goes 21-29 for 353 yards and 1 passing touchdown. And then 15 carries for 62 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. If Ole Miss hopes in an extremely weak at the top SEC to make the playoff this year and make up for what they did last year, I think we're all on the same page in saying that Trinidad Chambliss needs to be their starter.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And boy, I'm gonna hate to cheer against this guy if he plays the Georgia game this year. I'll do it, but I'm not gonna be excited about it.
I'm just
But
gonna
I
watch
will
highlights
say-
of him beating Valdosta State and crushing my dreams, and then I'll hate him again.
All right, there we go. But I do think that if there's any coach in the country that can handle a 2 quarterback system, it's Lane Kiffin. And I know the saying is if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. But like if we're being honest, Lane Kiffin, Steve Sarkisian, like he did last year, and like maybe Will Stein at Oregon, but Oregon always prioritizes one guy and just develops the guy behind him. So
Yeah.
they've never been in that situation. I think Lane could do it, to a Jalen situation. But man, Trinidad needs to be the starter.
Yeah. Sometimes you just got to go with the guy who makes your offense better. And
Yeah.
clearly, Trinidad is that guy right now. We did the same thing a few years ago when we played against Arkansas. Couldn't get anything going. Made a switch, and 2 national championships later, it worked out pretty good for us.
That is a fair point. All right, so getting back into the game itself, Arkansas almost won this one, and Taylor Green is still one of the most fun players in college football. He may not be the best, but he is more fun than your favorite player.
I'm starting him over Arch going forward. I can't.
Yeah, you should. You absolutely should. By the way, we didn't talk about it. Texas's offense is anemic right now.
We're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it because I said a joke last night at the watch party that I probably should have said on the mic, but there were kids in the room. It's good. It's a good one. All right. So speaking of good ones for us and everyone who doesn't like Gamecock,
Sorry,
Vandy-
Wes.
Vandy at South Carolina. So Vandy covered the 2.5 points, under 48.5 hit. Vandy absolutely dominated this game. And I know Sellers got hurt, but keeping any SEC team from scoring for 55 minutes in a football game is insane.
Yeah.
They had Luke Doty. I didn't know that boy was still in college.
Okay.
Yeah, bro is still kicking around.
Also, let's put some respect on his name because he was passing the ball well.
Yeah.
But the offensive line's still on.
Yeah.
And I said it in the preview, and this is one thing that I, pat myself on the back for because I saw all over social media. Everybody's taking South Carolina. Nobody's giving Vandy a chance.
Yeah. We were unanimous here with it because we watch football and we know ball. So
Yeah,
don't look at my best bets record this week.
mine either.
Mine though.
Bro,
Oof.
how did Middle Tennessee State beat Nevada?
Well, look, you should have seen it coming because like I mentioned, Jaden Rashada gave Nevada a scare.
Yeah, but Middle Tennessee State lost to Austin Peay.
Yeah, okay, that's right. Fair enough.
Anyways,
Middle Tennessee State quota this week, right?
look,
Is this the #1 Middle Tennessee State podcast in America at this point?
potentially, we're definitely up there. But all right,
Vandy has a
South
defense to
Carolina.
go along with
South
that.
Carolina.
offense.
Yep, that's where we're going. All right, I called it in the pregame. I was like, Lenore Sellers is Superman, but his offensive line is his kryptonite. And how long is he going to be able to keep it up? Turns out it was in the first quarter of this game.
Yep.
Hate to say it. Hate
Yeah,
that he got hurt.
we don't wish that on him. It's awful.
No, but factually, Shane Beamer sucks at offensive line recruiting, whether it's through the portal or high school, and they need a better offensive line coach, or this will continue to happen.
Matt
Remember
Luke
when
might be
Spencer
available.
Rattler had to run for his life and somehow managed to beat Tennessee?
Yeah.
It's just a fact of South Carolina at this point. It's almost like no one can have an offensive line in the state of South Carolina, ask Dabo. But
Yep.
Vandy has a defense to go along with a good offense. 323 total yards of offense, 177 passing, 143 rushings. And Diego was the third leading rusher on the team. That's important because he's not getting his ass beat all year.
Yep.
One of the
He's
things
not.
that
He's
I've
not doing it
talked about-
himself.
Yep.
Yeah, I've talked about it. Every time we talked about Vandy, he's not the leading rusher, which is important.
Mhm.
Also, Vandy only gave up 1 sack to a good defensive front in South
Doesn't it?
Carolina.
I was gonna say that's might be the most impressive part of this whole thing.
So, Vandy finally got ranked today. And I'll be honest, in our poll, they have not been ranked, even though I put them at 16 for like the last 3 weeks. So that's on y'all. Also, Mike, before you write your paper, it's more important that you put your vote in.
The most important vote of our lifetime.
Again.
Again.
But no, so Vandy beating South Carolina. Serious question here. With what we've seen so far this season, is Vandy the fourth best team in the SEC?
They could be. That's not super high praise with the way most SEC teams have played this year.
I think they're somewhere between 4 and 6.
Yeah, there's definitely an argument. I will say South Carolina is definitely not as good as most of us thought they would
look
be.
At that. Look at the Virginia Tech win they had. They were hanging their hat on that.
And then that ended up being worse than it was.
You just can't have Old Dominion come into Lane Stadium like that.
It's man. So, but yeah, I mean, again, this just goes to show, and a lot of games this year have shown this, that you can have a few great players that people look at and say, wow, you're going to have a great team. But if you don't have it up front on both sides of the ball, it doesn't matter. Because this is still a very physical sport, and you can pay all the renter players you want and get all these NIL deals for all these skill players that you want. If you cannot protect them, you're not going to succeed. And I understand Lenora Sellers got hurt. Lenora Sellers wasn't doing so hot on the offense either.
Right.
And he got hurt because of a failure by the coaches to recruit and develop offensive line talent.
Yep.
Like it's not like, oh, it was a dirty play, he got hurt. No.
Targeting was called on it.
Yeah.
But, okay, was it very clearly intentional? I'm trying to take this guy out of the game.
Probably not. I mean, I didn't see the play, but I can.
Yeah, I mean, from what I saw, it didn't appear to be that way. And once, like, come on, just Shane Beamer, like
the guy wouldn't have been in the backfield in the first place if they could get some people to protect him.
Shane Beamer, I will make this argument now, and I will stand on it. Shane Beamer and South Carolina make the playoff last year if he has an offensive line. Because Morris doesn't go down versus LSU.
Yeah.
He's fully healthy versus Alabama. They probably win both of those games.
Mm-hmm.
They take a loss to Ole Miss. They're 11-1. Probably play in the SEC championship over Georgia. They make the playoff last year with an offensive line. And what did he do this year? Not get anybody out of the portal to help him.
Yep.
That's a coaching failure.
Well, that's why they're always going to be 7-5 most years.
Yeah, 9-3 seems to be an outlier, sadly, because
that's the ceiling. That is the absolute ceiling.
Speaking of ceilings, I'm
boy,
sure, we've talked about ceilings. Pretty sure both of these teams are living on the floor, and that is Florida at LSU. LSU covered the 5.5, under 47.5, and that was just rough.
Yeah.
That was the worst possible combination of what Florida could have had nightmares about, at least offensively. And Billy's coaching and game plan led DJ to throw 5 picks and still stay in the game, which makes sense because, I mean, Billy and DJ they're tied together at the hip. Their future at the University of Florida is tied to each other at this point. And honestly, Billy did what I said he needed to do to have this game won. But I forgot one thing, and we'll get to that. Because he let the playbook loose. Like, he tossed the kitchen sink out there. DJ was throwing it frequently. DJ was running it. But here's the problem. We forgot that Billy can't coach.
Yeah.
Very important aspect, yeah.
So
DJ also hasn't practiced a whole lot of football, guys.
Right. But at the same time, you know who else hadn't played a whole lot of football before they got thrusted into a game last year?
Gunnar Stockton.
Stockton. And he got thrusted into a game and won the SEC championship. So
being down, by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's not pretend that not getting a lot of playing time doesn't mean anything because DJ played half of last year.
But young quarterbacks just get really rattled in these big time environments when they have to go on the road. Oh, wait, hang on. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. No, At this point, I truly feel bad for DJ. I do, because
Mhm.
he's in his second year under Florida and Billy Napier, and he hasn't gotten developed. And to be fair, he got hurt, shoulder injury, hamstring injury last year, and now he's been told, "Hey, we need you to play your ass off, but you can't run. Like we know mobility is a big part of your game, but like only run if it's absolutely necessary." And he's getting his ass beat for it, and he keeps throwing
Yep.
interceptions because they just want him to be a pocket passer.
Yep.
And I know we have said it for years, but Billy's a dead man walking. How dangerous
Yeah.
they are for the rest of the season truly relies on if the team decides to play with effort for the interim head coach after the fifth game. Why do I say fifth game? Because I think their athletic director is real trashy. And I think they have the money. I think they know they're going to fire Billy, but they're going to wait until after the fifth game, saying they're keeping him because that doesn't allow players to reserve a year of eligibility, and they're going to want players to play the rest of the season so they can fill out the stadium, even if people play just to put film on tape for the portal.
Question is, will that be enough of a motivating factor to get these kids to actually play?
No,
You know,
it's going to be like
no.
last year at Florida State. You're going to have 11 individuals on each side of the ball.
Yeah, for sure.
God, I mean, you can go.
Oh, I was just gonna say, well, you go ahead. If you're talking about Florida, go ahead, because I'm gonna transition this to LSU. So
I was gonna talk about again Florida's schedule. I know the ESPN and all that put a lot of emphasis on it. Game day is going to Miami next week for that game. That's gonna be bad. Miami's a 7.5 point favorite right now. That fifth game that you were talking
Only
about,
7.5. I'm putting money on it.
yeah.
Right now it is on the ESPN
Literally.
Gonna have our
Literally
first
right now, I'm
unanimous
putting
best
money
bet
on
of the
it.
year.
That fifth game that you were talking about is Texas going to the Swamp, and that's anywhere between a 3:30 kick and an 8 p.m. kick. So we'll see about that. But
there's a very good chance for 1-4 here.
I mean, they're playing three top as of right now, 3 top 10 teams the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, yikes.
Yeah, our next 3 games.
Yeah, and I will say though, when are we going to stop being high on this LSU team? This LSU offense is not good.
For me, it was last night. Like in my vote in the poll that I put in this morning, LSU dropped a significant amount.
As they should. We're 3 weeks into the season, and this offense hasn't put up 30 points once, and that includes a game against Louisiana Tech. They haven't yet faced an offense capable of scoring 30 on anyone either. So we don't know what this defense is really. People had all kinds of questions about Georgia going into this week after one game where we were keeping our cards close to our chest. Where are all the media figures questioning LSU right now? Considering they're still ranked third in the AP, there's not nearly enough of them.
Yeah.
No, I would agree with that 100%. And the worst part is, for years it was LSU has the offense, but they don't have the defense. Now they have the defense and not the
Allegedly.
offense. Allegedly. They
haven't faced an offense yet. We'll see.
They have faced a lot of talent, but not a lot of execution.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like at this point, it truly does still confuse me how LSU is supposed to be good.
Yeah. They're resting on the laurels of a win over a top 10 team that clearly was not a top 10 team.
You mean a top 10 team that's now unranked?
Yep, that's the one.
Okay. All right. Getting into the main event here, but before we do that, we are doing this week's Calling the Dogs, and I will say we haven't gotten the amount of voicemails that we would like to get this year. So I'm just going to read the number off once again. It is 912-421-9695. Come yell at us if we're wrong, like a lot of our bets were this week, except for Mike. Holler at us, yell at us before the game, after the game, before Thursday. Give a little bit of a hype speech. Just get involved. That's what that number's there for.
Yeah.
We want y'all to talk to us and give us your opinion. But here is this week's Calling the Dogs.
Yo, Emery, Mikey, Kaleb is doing the show this week or not. This is Josh. Yo, waking up after one of the most physically exhausting fourth quarters I can ever remember in my life. Georgia walked away with a win. I think we learned that this team is still a Kirby Smart team. It is a very, very physically tough, mentally tough team. I don't think we can take anything away from Tennessee. If we're looking at the SEC right now, it's a short sample size. I don't know. Maybe these are the two best teams in the conference right now. It's hard to say. Texas is looking flat. LSU, didn't look great against Florida. So we could see these guys again, maybe even 2 more times, depending on how things shake out. Now, it's a very satisfying win. One of my favorite moments as a Georgia fan, post national championships and all that stuff. So, I've got a lot of confidence in this team for the rest of the season. I don't look at anybody on the schedule and have doubts right now. So that's a good feeling to have, and also just to, crush and absolutely obliterate the hopes and dreams of Tennessee, and seeing that kid throw up on the sideline after the missed field goal was just absolutely glorious. All right, Em, have a good one.
So, I just want to start off by saying a couple of things. For those of you, the quote-unquote media out there that was saying Gunner was scared to throw, yeah, you can just go ahead and just go fuck off and go fuck yourself. Second off, if Bobby Hill couldn't beat this Georgia team, he's never going to be able to beat Kirby, so once again, Tennessee, fuck off. And then thirdly, Rocky Flop, you'll always be bottom of the pole. Good old Rocky Flop. Woo! Rocky Flop, Tennessee.
All right, so that is this week's Calling the Dog. Once again, call us, yell at us, talk to us, tell us we're right. We love that. Phone number is 912-421-9695. Holler at us. But, getting back into it. Georgia game. Tennessee covered 4 points, depending on when you took the line. We did have the over, obviously hit, over 50.5. Both teams almost hit this individually.
Yeah.
But I will say, bad news, y'all. Based on how many years this game took off in my life, the podcast is over because I died yesterday. Factually, no heartbeat. Doing the math here, I'm dead.
We actually just the weekend at Bernie's, Joe Biden'd him out here, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that's why it sounds smarter and funnier today. I will say, legitimately, yesterday, my average heart rate during the game was 116, and I'm looking at it on my watch right now.
Wow.
Am I too invested? Absolutely. Do I need to take a step back? More than likely. Am I going to? Absolutely not. But, so this game right here proved everyone wrong. Not just the people who ignorantly said that Georgia would lose, because when's the last time Kirby Smart lost to Tennessee, specifically Josh Heupel? But even those of us who knew Georgia would win, because I do not believe there's a single person on this planet that thought it would be an overtime shootout.
Nope, nobody did. Because Georgia didn't have an offense, guys. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Nope. Or defense, if you listen to CBS or ESPN.
That one guy on ESPN who said Tennessee's defense looked more like Georgia than Georgia's defense.
Yeah. And then CBS said the same thing too. So, but I will say, first positive to Georgia, and y'all have a lot more written down than I do, because I kind of go into more of it at the end when I go on a bit of a rant. But anyways, to shout out to the piece together offensive line for only allowing 3 sacks in this game. So based on what I could find, and I did have to use AI's help because I've said it for weeks now, finding offensive line research is impossible.
Yeah.
There was one website for free that tracks offensive line snaps and all that sort of all those sort of stats. They went under. They were bought by some website that just folded it. So they suck. But the offensive line of this game, based on what I could see, 8 to 9 players played on the offensive line for Georgia on Saturday.
Wow. I think they did something similar last week, and some people were worried about that, saying we're not going to be able to do anything if we don't get our tight 5 together.
Well, sometimes a tight 5 is a tight 10.
Yeah.
And I don't care. Be honest, Tennessee has one of the better defenses that we're like the Georgia is going to face until Tennessee, and they allowed 3 sacks in this game, and 2 of those were because Gunner held on to the ball too long. If we're being honest.
Yeah.
And then positive towards Tennessee because
respect.
Man, and Kirby said it. Tennessee deserved to win this game.
Yeah.
They played better consistently through 4 quarters than Georgia did. But Georgia had enough moments. Tennessee had enough lapse of judgment.
Mm-hmm.
And Tennessee got in their heads, and Georgia's able to win that game.
Yeah, I will say I think Kirby Smart outcoached Josh Heupel again, but the players on Tennessee's sideline outplayed Georgia's players for most of that game, and I have all the respect in the world for a lot of them, especially Joey Aguilar. Dude is a freak.
Yeah. And speaking about him specifically, like he threw interceptions. He had 2. One was a tip, and one was a small window. That he had hit windows smaller than that for the entire game.
Yep.
At any point, should he have doubted his ability to make either of those throws?
No. Jonell just kind of figured out where the ball was going and got over there.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe Joey is a quarterback name. Maybe I was wrong.
I mean, Joe Burrow got hurt again today.
He's
sure held
did.
Together by bubble gum and hopes. Maybe Joey is the true name.
Yeah.
But, and then, if we're being entirely honest, as a Tennessee hater, which I believe that I am, Kaleb Herring on their defensive line is a menace.
Yeah.
And I hope he gets drafted this year. And I know chances are Georgia's not going to play Tennessee for 2 years after this. Based on the 9-game conference schedule, Tennessee, if they had Bama and Georgia as protected rivalries, that'd be too much. It'd be unfair.
Yeah. Auburn's going to get it because they have to, but
right.
Can't have Tennessee doing it too.
Yeah,
right.
For sure. So, Georgia's not going to play Tennessee again till Kaleb Herring has no eligibility left.
Good.
But I still hope he goes to the draft. Get this guy out of the SEC. 4 tackles, 3 solo, 1.5 sacks, 2.5 tackles for loss. The dude just destroyed the offensive line that we were just speaking highly about by himself.
Yeah.
But this is truly an incredible game by Tennessee, and really the first time since Hendon Hooker was taking snaps that they looked dangerous on offense in an SEC game. And we're going to talk a lot of trash from here on out for being just full transparency.
That's what we do here.
We're going to talk trash. It's part of what we do. No disrespect to Tennessee and the team that Josh Heupel put on the field on Saturday night, because that was the best Tennessee team. You know what? I'll bold take here. This is potentially the best Tennessee team, top to bottom, left to right, since they have been in the national conversation, talking like 1998.
Yeah. I would buy that. I will buy that take 100%. Clearly the AP does too, because they did not budge in the poll.
Not a bit, which I thought was that's the first time this year that I've been like, you know what, AP poll, that makes sense.
I was going to say I moved them up in my ballot, but I realized this week that I accidentally didn't have them even ranked in my previous ballots. So they are very high in there now.
Earned your respect.
Yes, very much so.
All right, so I kind of just stream of conscious when I was writing this down. So just some overall thoughts on this. That 70-plus yard touchdown that Ellis gave up. I think he badly mistimed that jump, and then and the ball was overthrown too. I mean, everything had to work in order for Tennessee in that sense for that play to end up happening the way it did. So
I think Daniel Harris had a very similar play where he went up to the ball and just let himself fall and mistimed the jump.
As Daniel Harris would. Yeah.
Yes.
But overall, I mean, the rush defense, I mean, you got to be happy with it for the most part. They had I think 34 rushes for 125 yards allowed. So that's really good. I was happy with that.
That number of rushes. Give me 125 yards.
Yeah, we'll take that any day of the week. Man, this is evident how much better this wide receiver room is this
Golly,
year
it was
last year, man. I'm just insane. I think so. Obviously, Colby was there for a little bit last year, and then he had stuff we won't talk about happened. And then he's back this year, luckily. But Kobe and Zachariah Branch combined for 9 catches for 142 yards and a touchdown, and that 2-point conversion, big 2-point conversion near the end of the game to tie it up. Huge, huge, huge to have those guys there, rather than like Arian Smith getting like 15 targets.
Yeah.
So much better position right now. And then London Humphreys, I think, and I don't know if I ended up saying it while we were watching it yesterday, but like at one point I was like, I'm done with this guy. And look what he did.
We both didn't necessarily say it with as many words, but we were just like, man, like he feels like a 2024 receiver.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, he certainly redeemed himself. That basket catch on 4th down to set up that 2-point conversion, incredible. I mean, the throw itself was amazing. The catch,
can we talk real quick? Because I didn't mention this in mine either, about how Gunnar Stockton, who was not confident throwing the ball deep, on 4th and 7 with the drive on the line, just decides to chuck it up to London Humphreys in the corner of the end zone and trust him to get it.
So throwing outside the numbers, which he hadn't really done before.
Not at all.
So I will say, in one of the games we were watching last night, I do remember that they brought up the stat I think it was the Florida LSU game. They brought up the stat of Gunnar throwing downfield this year, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I very much could be. This was been awake for like 20 hours at this point, but I think Gunnar was 10 of 12 on throws 10 yards down the field yesterday and had over 190 yards. Which,
that's what we're here for.
Even reporters that we on this podcast respect their opinion said that was a concern going into this game. So it's not like it was invalid.
Yeah.
But
there was that feeling in the back of the mind.
Do it.
Yeah, there was always that feeling in the back of the mind that was just being kept on a leash, and turns out looks like it was. Or he didn't trust himself yet. But either way, it's off the leash now. And
because he was able to do that, I mean, that they were able to run the game when they be able to run the ball when they needed to. 55 rushes is a lot, but almost had 198 yards there. So him being able to throw the ball a little bit, outside the numbers and everything, obviously helped out with that a tad bit there. But that potential game-winning field goal for Tennessee. And I think I was saying it. I don't know how loud I was, but I was saying it at the time. I thought Bobby Hill was getting greedy.
Yeah.
So I mean, I understand them wanting to get the ball in the place where the kicker prefers it to be, like where he feels comfortable. I get all that, and then not wanting to give Georgia any time left, after the makes to, some crazy kick return and magic. I know he was trying to avoid that at all costs, but you run the risk of turning the ball over, getting a penalty as they did. And that moves you back 5 yards, changes their kicker. I can't even remember his name, but
Max Gilbert.
Changes his mindset. Now I have to hit a 43-yarder to win this game instead of a 37, 38-yarder or whatever.
But he seemed anxious before that.
He looked scared. Yeah.
Like everybody at the watch party was saying this, at least the Georgia fans. There were Tennessee fans there that were great. They were very respectful. We had some conversations back and forth. Awesome people. But everybody that I heard say something was like, man, that's like his 20th practice kick. He's nervous.
Yeah.
He's scared.
Yeah.
And the broadcast said over and over again that was I think his first attempt at like a game tying or game winning field goal.
No, he hadn't made one. He had
made one.
He had not made one.
But I mean, just with all that extra stuff, instead of just getting the ball down and just kicking it and all that from where they were at, that puts them in like the Mario Cristobal levels of late game mismanagement, and it ultimately ended up costing them. I know he made a field goal in overtime, whatever, but obviously that was a lot of pressure as well, and he able to redeem himself a tad bit there. But that's wild. That they're gonna look back at that and critique that a lot, I'm sure, if you go and listen to like a Tennessee podcast or whatever. I think, but
like the guy that couldn't just not flinch and got that false start. Like,
yep.
Right.
Oh, and they knew it too, man. They were, yeah.
Which, how many false starts did Georgia have in that environment? None.
Was it 0? Pretty sure it was 0.
I think it was 0.
Yeah, the noise. The noise didn't impact this team at all. It felt like it was bigger impact on Tennessee than anybody.
Yeah, it's not that the noise wasn't there. They just weren't
there.
phased.
It was loud.
Well, them dogs travel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure it was at least decently loud for Tennessee. Maybe not like home level, like home field advantage level out, but they had some noise.
Yeah, you still probably had what 80,000 Tennessee fans there, probably.
Yeah, enough to make the noise for sure.
Yeah,
It was getting
80
up
or
there.
more. 80 or more, I think it's a fair estimate.
Yeah. But last thing here. So in overtime, I may be in the minority here. I wanted, when it was time for them to kick the field goal, for Tennessee to kick the field goal, I wanted Kirby to take the timeout and try to just get in this kid's head even more, just for the LOLs.
Oh, we both said it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like so you got to take a timeout here. This kid is shook, and obviously he didn't end up doing it. He was able to go out there and just get it over with. But if you gave him another minute or two to think about it, it could have been like Noah Ruggles or worse.
Yeah,
maybe.
Ultimately it didn't matter, but it would have been very funny.
Yeah. But
if he didn't make the kick, and then Georgia can just trot out Peyton Woodring for a 35-yard field goal, like, hey, that's a dub. Let's take it to the house.
Yeah.
Well, I think that the third down play before the kick in overtime. I think Jonell almost like caught what.
Yeah, he almost.
Man.
Yeah, that would have been ball game.
Yeah, that would have been sick. But that was, I mean, incredible game. Now I can go back and watch it without anxiety. So that's cool.
That makes one of us.
I just think if Georgia gets down a couple scores and this game becomes a shootout, I don't trust Gunnar Stockton to get him back in the game. That was everyone. Yeah. Every analyst, including Georgia beat reporters. That's what everyone was saying about this game. Alongside, well, this is Gunnar's first start in this kind of environment, and I think it's going to rattle him. So when Tennessee got up 21-7, everyone thought this game was over, myself included, by the way.
Yep.
But not so fast, because Gunnar Stockton is the most clutch quarterback in college football today.
This season, he's the only one that has proven he's that clutch.
Exactly.
Okay. Last night, Marcel Reed made his case.
Yeah, Marcel Reed.
You watched that game. Marcel Reed made a case.
Marcel Reed has also failed enough that I'm not willing to give him that title yet. But
Notre Dame might just suck. So
yeah, that's also true.
Both of those are fair arguments.
Yeah, but also, we talked about it. Tennessee's own offense was more rattled for most of this game than Gunnar Stockton. Once they got up to that lead, they hit the brakes and just couldn't seem to get it going for a long time in the middle of that game. This Georgia team
plays were done.
Yeah, once the script was out.
Maybe you write a longer script.
This Georgia team has got something, though, that, dare I say, we have not had since 2022. And I hate making those comparisons. But in 2022, we had to win a very similar game to this one, 42-41, and sling it around the field and throw 75-yard bombs to Arian Smith back when he could catch. And we had to win another game, 26-22, by making a chase down tackle late in the fourth quarter. We could win games in multiple ways that season. No matter which way the game was going, Georgia had a way to win, and that seems to be true here too. The first 2 weeks, everyone was talking about how great this defense was, but I had a lot of questions about the offense. I still think this defense is great, by the way, but every unit's got an off week. And last season, those off weeks cost us games, no matter which side of the ball was having that off week.
If you don't have DBs fall, I mean, that makes a world of difference. Like, there was a couple plays there that weird.
Yeah.
And if offensive pass interference is, at any
actually
point called in that game,
Right.
And that's according to the ESPN rules analyst that called the game, does not be being a homer. If offensive pass interference is called on that one, Georgia wins in regulation.
Exactly. Yeah. But if this game had happened last season, on that final drive going down the field, Carson Beck either gets sacked multiple times or high points the ball to Colby Young at the end of the drive and it gets intercepted instead of tying the game. And I know that because that's exactly what happened last season against Alabama. This was the Alabama game from last year, except this time we actually had the dudes to finish the job.
Carson threw 2 interceptions yesterday, at least.
Yeah.
From what I watched.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
And multiple sacks, way more sacks than what
he got rocked on one play where he tried to run for a touchdown. But anyway, continue.
But yeah, there were so many plays there where Gunnar escaped what would have been a definite sack to Carson Beck. Tennessee's a good team. Clearly, they came out and punched us in the mouth. They did the one thing that everybody was saying Georgia couldn't counter, and jumped ahead and told Gunnar Stockton to go out and beat them. And you know what? I was going to let y'all answer that. He did.
He did.
I'm just looking up Carson Beck's interceptions. It was a very Georgia game for Carson Beck. 3 touchdowns, 2 picks.
Sounds about right. Sounds like Carson Beck. But one other thing I do want to say, I want to read it word for word from a text that I sent just before halftime in this game. So I'm just going to quote it again. Context, it's before halftime. I know we're losing still, but I love this team. I just watched Gunner throw a block on a running play. I just watched Oscar Delp hit someone with a flying knee.
Yeah, that was fun.
This may not be the best team we've had, but they have captured my heart. These guys are just dogs who love playing football, and I absolutely adore them for it. I have not had this much fun watching Georgia in a long time. Again,
certainly
probably
not
since
last year.
2022. Definitely
Certainly
not last year.
year.
Yeah, I'm not saying I keep comparing it to 22, and I'm not saying that necessarily means we're going to win a national championship. Just saying the last time I had this much fun watching a Georgia team, we won back-to-back national championships. Take from that what you will.
Mhm.
Best part of all this, though, we got a whole week now where we can just laugh at Tennessee for blowing it. Imagine losing 9 in a row. Imagine losing 5 in a row at home to the same opponent and supposedly one of the toughest environments in the country. What a poverty program. Now, I mean, I'm obviously talking trash. They definitely earn my respect. But for right now, what a poverty program. Tennessee's trash.
Imagine losing 9 in a row, and you probably, at the earliest, will get the opportunity to break that streak in 2028. And more than likely, because of how consistently they played each other and how infrequently Georgia's played other teams, it'll actually probably be 2030 before they have an opportunity to either make it 10 or start a streak over.
Yeah.
Mhm. All I know is the next thing better be in Sanford Stadium.
Yeah.
Better be.
Better not do what they keep doing with Alabama with us.
Right. There's no reason why Bama shouldn't have played in Athens for 10 years, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I do have an argument to make before we get into awards. And I know we've been going for a while, y'all. I get it. I hear you.
A lot to talk about.
There's a lot to talk about, and I have a very legitimate argument to make that I've put in a decent amount of time on research. So I think Georgia on Saturday got the best win of the season. And look, I'm a homer. I understand that. I do. But so here's the thing. Here's the contenders: LSU, Ohio State, Miami, Georgia. They're the teams with the best wins so far. But here's why each of those wins is not the best. LSU beat Clemson at Clemson. Cool. Clemson barely beat Troy at home and then lost to Georgia Tech. Clemson's out, allowing an average of 20 points per game. LSU scored 17, which is one more than Troy did against Clemson on the same field. LSU at this point is the 4th or 5th best team in the ACC and unranked.
Sorry, Clemson is.
Yep. Clemson is. LSU maybe. We're still holding out. Ohio State barely beat Texas at home. Since then, Texas beat 0-2 San Jose State, 38-7, 1-2 UTEP, 27-10. Texas still has a defense, but their offense is 2024 Michigan type bad.
Yeah.
Straight.
And so here's the thing. Yesterday, right before halftime, Texas was about to go up. They were about to score again. And Arch threw an interception. And I said, man, I bet those aren't the Arch picks that they were wanting for in Austin. And that's a fact, because Texas is not good this year. Arch is still completely lost regardless of who the coach is. And after that, Ohio State only beat this team 14-7. And not even necessarily a part of the argument, but Ohio State just assaulted a 2-10 FCS team and then beat MAC Ohio 37-10 or 37-9. So, like against FBS teams, you've scored 37 points and 14 points. Is that good? Miami beat Notre Dame. This one's easy. They almost lost to a Notre Dame team at home who is now 0-2. Not the best one.
Pretty much speaks for itself. Yeah.
Yep.
Who let Texas A&M put up like 41 points or whatever on them? Yeah.
Yep. And that was in South Bend. And then, all right. So Georgia, why Tennessee could potentially not be the best one in the country? You really just look at the history of Tennessee not playing all that well in SEC games. We talked about it in the preview. Their points per game goes down drastically. Georgia, in the most vanilla, eyes closed, missionary way possible, beat Austin Peay 28-6. Those are the only arguments against Georgia beating Tennessee 44-41 in overtime in Knoxville, not being the best win of the season so far.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Georgia handled business in week 1, played as vanilla as possible in week 2 and still won. With a lightning delay and a ton of injuries, out 2 offensive linemen, you lost one of your best blocking tight ends in the first half. Doesn't matter. Austin Peay still won, never in danger. Then Georgia goes to one of the toughest environments in college football with the quarterback making his first road start. Regardless of the SEC title game and the Sugar Bowl, he's never played in an environment close to Neyland. Didn't shake him. And not only does he play at an insanely high level, but depending on the series, 2 to 3 guys on the offensive line were out, and they had 0 false starts in 60 minutes of football, plus overtime. That offensive line played well enough for half of the play calls in the second half to be run through a MF face again and again and again, and it worked.
I meant to bring this up, that death march drive. I've never seen us death march down, and we got down the field and scored it by just taking it by force.
Yep.
Yeah. And, this is a terrible joke, but I said, boy, if you thought passing corn was weird, wait till you pass those molars we just punched down your throat. But the defense made enough plays.
Yeah.
They've been okay and good for the first 2 weeks. Josh Heupel is one of the best 5 offensive coaches in college football, regardless of the trash we talk. So him getting 41 points was bound to happen with enough chances.
Yeah.
He's never beat a Mike Bobo offense before, but yeah.
No, I thought they beat
At Georgia. At Georgia.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
Left that part.
And then Georgia's the only team on this list to have a big win on the road, and that team still be ranked or have a winning record. It's the only one.
Yeah.
And this win was so impressive, Tennessee did not drop in the rankings. Georgia over Tennessee is the best win in the country, and if you have something to say, bring some facts or pound some sand. Because I just laid it out.
Yeah. If you have complaints, you can file them with someone who gives a crap.
No, call us.
Call the hotline.
Yeah, okay.
Call
the
the hotline and tell us how stupid you are. Just announce it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So getting into awards here. Just once again, full transparency. We have 4 different Lumberjack awards to give out. But so somebody take offense, somebody take defense. I got freshman, and then we'll split Lumberjack. So whenever y'all are ready.
I'll take the offense. The offensive player of the game is obviously Dylan Bell. I'm just kidding. Gunnar Stockton clearly deserves to be the offensive player of the game. He's 23 for 31, so almost 75% passing, 304 yards, 2 touchdowns, plus 13 carries for 38 yards and 48 when you adjust for sacks, and a touchdown rushing. More importantly, dude finally showed everybody who was doubting him that he can throw the ball when he needs to. He can throw it deep when he wins to, and he can take over a game and win it for us. So bravo.
Yeah, that first completion he had, like the 30-yard completion, I think we all said, I thought he couldn't throw.
Yeah,
that's
the whole chat was just that.
Said.
Yeah,
everyone in the bar too. It got loud.
Mm-hmm. All right, for defense, Jonel Aguero, 4 tackles, 4 total tackles, 3 solo, and 2 passes broken up, and an interception. Dude was all over the place. He almost had another pick, like we talked about earlier. Yeah, dude.
Dude was playing like a Georgia star finally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a coming out party for him, and I'm excited for him. He's definitely a strength for this team. So shout out Jonel.
All right, so for the
Walker went 16 yards. He rolled right over Orange Church, just driving and running with those big strides. My God,
award of the week is going to this one was tough. We talked about, I legitimately think 4 or 5 guys in the group chat between 3 of us trying to figure out who to give this award, because even though 53% of the roster are freshmen and sophomores this season, Georgia leaned a lot on experience in this game. But Sokovia White-Helton had 1 catch for 17 yards, and this wasn't just 1 catch for 17 yards. Like, we're patting a guy on the back that has actually supported both of our pages on Instagram.
He has, but
no, he had a 17-yard catch on 3rd down to get a first down into Tennessee territory.
3rd down behind the sticks, by the way.
Tied the game.
Yeah,
massive catch.
Like if you could define this game in specific plays, that is one of them.
Yeah,
And redshirt freshman didn't get a lot of playing time last year. It's been recruited over to the portal, if we're being entirely honest, between London Humphreys, Zachariah Branch, Noah Thomas, Colby Young, all these other guys. He stayed, he worked, he got rewarded for it because that play is going to get watched. Like in my house, that game's probably going to get replayed 3 times this week.
Yeah. I've caught flack for saying this. Sokovie White Helton has a Ladd McConkey ceiling, and I think he showed a lot of why I keep making that comparison just from that one catch.
For sure. No, I agree with that. And then Kaleb had the perfect quote for the Lumberjack Award this week. Sometimes when you got a lot of chopping to do, it takes multiple Lumberjacks. So
it's a beautiful quote.
We're going to go through them.
It is. Who wants to take the first one?
I'll go ahead and do that. We're going to give it to Josh McCray first. He did not get a ton of playing time in the first 2 weeks. He was apparently still learning the offense, but he was a workhorse in the first part of this game. Only 7 carries for 17 yards, but he was the blitz pickup guy in the first half, and he was the guy who, if we were in a short yardage situation, we were jamming it down your throat, almost like a fullback in a lot of these packages. He had 2 touchdowns, including, by the way, the game winner. Not too bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking he was Kendall Milton, like when he was running the ball. I don't know why.
We kept saying that because, number 2, just blowing people up in the gap, getting touchdowns, especially against Tennessee, because in Kendall Milton's last season, 1+ touchdown on Kendall Milton was my best bet every week, and it hit every week.
Yes.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But no, that awesome to see that coming from Josh. Like I said, no playing time, and the game winner, which is, I think it's part of the reason why, to me, it didn't feel like a game-winning play, because it was reviewed, and then they were still showing the replay when in the background behind Kirk, you heard, "The ruling on the field is a touchdown." I was like, what?
Yeah, that was it.
An instant classic SEC game. Like, can we talk about it for a second? Yeah. Nope. All right, it's over.
Cool. The game is over. That was the call.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I mean, I had joked that they were taking so long with that because the referees were trying to find an escape route to get out of there.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So I want to do this one because I led the charge for Brett Thorson in the group chat. Tore his ACL in December of last year on his kicking leg. Importantly, on his kicking leg. He got back last week, but was an absolute weapon this week. 3 punts for 143 yards, including 2 punts down inside the 20. And both of those punts inside the 20 led to punts or turnovers by Tennessee, which was massive in this game, as we all know.
This man flips the field better than anyone else in college football.
And there's a reason why he's a preseason All-American, even with a torn ACL in his kicking leg.
Yeah.
Insane. So, all right. So next up, the entire offensive line, and we talked about this before, but we know they struggled at times throughout this year and even during this game. But the way they're able to rotate through so many guys and communicate well, didn't have a single false start penalty in what everybody says is the loudest environment, maybe outside of LSU. Doesn't really matter. Only allowed 3 sacks the entire game, and really, I mean, it was very, very, it was great to see.
Yeah. And to play that many guys against a defense like Tennessee's and only allow 3 sacks, it's going to go unnoticed by the national media. Georgia people are going to talk about it. But by the national media, no one's going to mention this. But it's insane to have 8
they're going to say the offensive line struggled in this game, but...
Yeah.
I will say one... Okay. I'll say one thing that I don't think we mentioned. I think haters or doubters of this team, especially with Gunner, they're going to point back to Tennessee not having both their starting corners in this game, but I don't think it mattered.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Jordan.
Not the way he's throwing it.
Have 3 starting offensive linemen.
Right.
Still. Ran the ball down your throat. Come up with a new excuse.
Yeah. I will say I haven't seen that much from Tennessee fans, so congratulations, you're better than Alabama fans. But
they weren't going to get on the internet today.
Well, that's fair too, but I have not seen a whole lot of it from the media, so we will see how it goes. Our fourth guy getting this is the guy who would probably be getting it on his own, if not for the fact that we just felt like these other guys contributed so much that we had to bring them up. But London Humphreys had to get a mention here. 3 catches for 59 yards, including the game-tying touchdown and a couple of other big passes throughout the game. He dropped a pass early in the game on a 4th down, but to come back from that and catch that beautiful ball was amazing to see from a guy who doesn't get as many touches as we probably thought he was going to get when he first transferred in from Vanderbilt. He was also blocking like hell the whole game.
He was,
which is something he's been doing all season. Which if that's not a lumberjack, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
And while we're speaking of lumberjack, in Sunday Night Football, Jalen Walker just mauled a left tackle and put J.J. McCarthy in the spin cycle, but vertically. I
was going to ask if he ever won a lumberjack award last year, but he was probably always defensive player of the game.
Yeah.
Honestly, for Texas, he may have gotten lumberjack and defensive player of the game because he deserved it.
Well, one of them went to Dalen Everett, one of them went to Jalen Walker.
That's
most
true.
Weeks, I'm sure.
Or also Trevor Etienne for scoring all of the points,
all the touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of the Nothing Finer podcast. We appreciate you sticking with us for this longer episode. Catch us live Sundays, YouTube, Thursdays, Millions, everywhere. Follow us on social media to catch all the updates at nothing.finer.pod on Instagram, at finerpod on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. Just search us. You will find us there. And most importantly, come hang out at the Rock House. Next one's going to be wild. Auburn, night game, Pirates Fest. We're super excited. But, as always, guys, remember there's nothing finer in the land
than a half
than a
bear,
drunk obnoxious
other half cat.
Good old Rocky Flop.